Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum first year. Dear students, today inshallah we start our book 3, and as you know that we have already read poem number 1, The Rain, and today inshallah we will start our poem number 2, that is Nightmare. So all of you open your books of English. Okay students, open your book on page number 57 and you can see that there is your second poem, that is Nightmare, and this poem has been written by W.H. Auden. Okay, this is the name of the poet. But before starting the poem, I will tell you briefly about the poet. Okay students, W.H. Auden is considered one of the finest poets of the 20th century. He was remarkably creative and experimental in his poetry. So as you see that I have mentioned his date of birth and date of death, that is, he was born in 1907 in York and he was died on 1973. Dear students, he had a typical childhood and later he turned out a very bright child. So what was his profession? He chose teaching as a profession and became professor of poetry at Oxford University. Yes friends, so as you can see that I have mentioned about him that he was a famous scriptwriter and he wrote scripts for documentaries. He was a critic, dramatist and poet as well. And we see many themes in his poetry, but some of the common themes that are found in his poetry, they are religion, politics, love, nature and daily life topics. He chose very common ideas, students, but he gave them a very new touch. This is his unique style and it won a fame for him. We can often find in his poetry quite frequent use of metaphor, satire and parody. These are the things that can be found in his poetry. So this is the brief introduction of the poet, and I can tell a lot about the poet, but because there is no need to write about the poet, so I would tell you just basic things that are necessary for your knowledge. So let's start. What is the poem about? Theme of the poem. First of all, I will tell you that what is the theme of the poem. The poem Nightmare. So it's Nightmare, it is the train. Okay? Train, and it is the name of the train, and it is not a passenger train, it is a train that conveys and provides postal orders, letters, checks and all these things to the receivers. Okay? ये जो ट्रेन है ये ऐसे लोगों को चीज़ें मुहैया करती है, उनको पहुंचाती है, जैसे एक गुड्स ट्रेन होती है और एक पैसेंजर्स ट्रेन होती है. So this is a nightmare. Nightmare is the name of the train. Okay बेटा? So what is the theme of the poem? The poem Nightmare is a tribute. ठीक है? Tribute here by the poet to the service. किसकी सर्विस के लिए? The postal department. ठीक है? समझते हैं postal department कौन से? Which conveys things to the people, different people who lives different areas of the country. So the postal department renders to the people. ठीक है? जो कि लोगों को खिदमत मुहैया करते हैं. This is a tribute to those people. Okay students? So in this poem the poet describes the journey of the nightmare which travels during night. ठीक है? It travels a lot during night and it conveys postal orders, letters, checks, love letters to different people of the society. Students, it does not discriminate between the rich and the poor. It serves them all. It is very punctual. It always comes on time. It never is late. Its path is full of ups and downs, but it continues its journey smoothly. Nightmare acts like a human being. Her journey is a symbol of life. Students, in this poem, through the symbol of nightmare, author actually wants to give us an idea that like nightmare, our life is full of ups and downs, and it is like a journey. So one should do his work very smoothly in spite of all the hurdles, all the difficulties that nightmare faces. So in the same way, human beings who are passing a life that is a blend of pleasure and trouble. So one should never lose heart and try to do his work with punctuality and with a good smile. So this is the main theme of the Nightmare that the poet is, and this thing shows that the poet is very optimistic that although human beings and all the persons, they face so many problems in their life, and the nightmare also, it faces a lot of difficulties. It passes through a lot of difficult areas like moorland, like difficult ups and downs from up and down places, but it never stops its journey. So in the same way, as a human being, we should not stop our journey. We should try to continue our path of life with all the difficulties having in our way. So this is the theme of the poem. So let's start our poem, and it's stanza number 1. Okay students, open your book and let's start reading the poem. First line I am going to read in front of you. This is the nightmare crossing the border, bringing the check in the postal order. So these are the first 2 lines that we will do. Its reference to the context. So first of all, look at the reference, that how will you write the reference of the poem. These lines have been taken from the poem Nightmare. These lines have been taken from the poem Nightmare, composed or written, you can write any word, by W.H. Auden. Okay. So what is the context of these lines? What will you write? The poet describes the journey of a mail train through steep slopes and landscapes till reaches its destination in time. Means to say, the train that is going on its journey through different places, whether the places are steep slopes or landscapes. So it reaches its destination in time. Okay. It brings checks, postal orders and letters for different cross section of the society. Cross section means different people of the society. Okay. Whether they are rich, they are poor, they are male, female, there is no category at all. It transfers the required things of the people to them. Okay. It moves as a unique force to face every kind of challenge. Okay. Mean to say कि उसके रास्ते में जो कुछ भी आता है, it faces it. The poet emphasizes the punctuality and commitment of the train. So this is the context of the poem beta, and now I will explain the first 2 lines in front of you. I won't write this explanation, you have to listen me carefully. Okay students, in these lines the poet describes the journey of a train that travels all night crossing the border. Now I am explaining the first 2 lines. Okay. So I will start explaining it. The poet describes the journey of a train that travels all night crossing the border. It has left England and is entering to Scotland. So this is the journey and this is the destination of the train, that it came from England and now it is entering to Scotland. Okay. When we see the background of the poem, then we come to know that the poet has these 2 cities mentioned, but these 2 cities are not mentioned in the poem. So if you don't write the name, you can skip it. Okay. So it is carrying letters, checks and postal orders for people who live in various parts of the land, like bringing the check and the postal order. Okay. So its uninterrupted journey takes it from one place to another, crossing boundaries, like crossing the border. Okay. It is crossing the boundaries of different countries and handing over mail to all kinds of people. So the poet seems to convey that nightmare overcomes all sorts of barriers and never shows any discrimination or prejudice. It performs its duties, maintaining its steadiness despite all the difficulties in its way. Okay students, so this is the explanation of the first 2 lines, and when they will give 4 lines, so it can be a very good explanation of the whole stanza. This is the transition explanation of the first 2 lines. Okay, so let's start the next one. Line number 3 and 4. Letters for the rich, letters for the poor, the shop at the corner, the girl next door. So its reference will be the same and its context will also be the same. Okay, let's start its explanation. That the Knights will carries different kinds of letters for various classes of people. Like the very first sentence, very first line, letters for the rich and letters for the poor. So it brings letters for all the classes of the, for all the cross sections of the society, whether they are rich or whether they are poor. It doesn't mean any difference to the train. Okay, it serves humanity as a whole, whether rich or low, rich or poor. Okay, so it's mean कि it does its duty without any discrimination. उसके लिए जो है वो किसी भी किस्म का कोई फर्क नहीं है, चाहे वो अमीर है, गरीब है, ठीक है, whatever the people are. So it is doing its duty honestly. So next, it takes business letters to shopkeepers, ठीक है, like the shop at the corner, the girl next door. अब shop at the corner mean, so it's mean that it is bringing business letters, ठीक है, जो शॉप एट द कॉर्नर है, कोई दुकानें हैं तो उनको जो रिक्वायर्ड चीज़ें चाहिए, सो इट इज़ ब्रिंगिंग ऑल्सो दोज थिंग्स फॉर द शॉपकीपर्स. एंड पर्सनल लेटर्स एंड द गर्ल नेक्स्ट डोर. ऑफ कोर्स if the girl is waiting for a letter, so it cannot be of official thing, ना, ठीक है, it can be personal. So the girl is waiting for the personal letter. And students, it is the time when these things like mobile phones and the modern ways of transportation and modern ways of communication were not present. So in those days, these types of things were used for correspondence. ठीक है, ये correspondence के लिए, आपस में राब्ते के लिए people they use like letters, checks और इस तरह की चीज़ें जो इस तरह से through train इस तरह से आती हैं. ठीक है, अब तो जो है, so as it brings the awaited messages to all segments of society, it is a source of satisfaction and comfort for all. ठीक है बेटा. So next, the writer gives a universal appeal to the train by saying that it brings letters for all without discrimination between the rich and the poor. So it is sending us a universal message that all the people of the society are equal. So it makes the things dear to it. ठीक है, अब सब लोगों के लिए जो चीज़ें हैं जो उसके पास है, it has the same importance for her. So this is enough for today's lecture beta. Inshallah, tomorrow I will translate, I will explain the next stanzas, the next lines of the poem. Inshallah, I hope you have very well understood the introduction and the reference to the context and explanation of the poem. So till tomorrow, Allah Hafiz.